Hello, Carley. So here we are in Woods Point, and Carley and Luke, which is I'm just going to skip over. Luke gets a little bit in. Are the owners here of the commercial hotel, and we were talking to Carley before, and she made some amazing points about the impact that a national park would actually have on Woods Point. So, Carley, what would be one of the number one impacts that you could see that would happen if the national park was introduced to this area?
If the national park was introduced, I don't think there would be Woods Point anymore.
Okay.
Basically, it would impact our clientele so that we would basically have none. 90% of our clientele is motorbike riders, four-wheel drivers, hunters, people who actually use the bush, who get out of their cars and physically walk out there.
Okay. So. And you were saying that there were people that actually have holiday houses here?
There is, yes.
So what do they do?
Well, they come from Melbourne, a lot of them, or, from outlying areas and stuff like that, and they all come here to actually enjoy what is here. They come to ride their motorbikes. Some of them have been out here for 30 or 40 years with a holiday home, and they come out, come out here, learn to ride their bikes, teach their children to ride their motorbikes, and actually get out, four-wheel drive, enjoy it. They're not going to want to be here if they can't actually utilise the area. There's not much point.
Yeah, and some people think that their house prices might go up if it turns into a national park because somehow there'll be all this ecotourism. What do you think about that?
I think there is a very small chance that might happen, but I think it would probably go the other way around.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people will actually sell their houses in if it's a national park. A lot of the holiday homes will, I think. And a lot of the people here, there's people that move here because they want to enjoy the area for what it is. If they can't enjoy the area for what it is, they're not going to want to live here. So a lot of people will sell their houses.
Yeah.
And anybody who wants to enjoy a national park isn't necessarily anybody who wants to enjoy a national park isn't really going to want to live inside a national park.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to walk their dogs out of their own backyards. Yeah. For instance, they're only going to be able to drive on the exact main road that everybody else is going to be able to drive on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were talking about things like the ambulance station here and the impact of losing people, that there's a whole range of issues from police stations to ambulance, that's being impacted as the town shrinks anyway.
Yes.
So, what else?
We're already at risk of losing our ambulance station. We have quite an older generation in a lot of the town here, which is really concerning. But because we are the only hub, we're the only thing for an hour direction in any time here, so everybody comes to Woods Point for help.
Yeah.
So it's the place they know they can get reception. It's the place they know that they can get warmth and food and help.
Yeah.
And if they can't get that, it's going to have a big impact, because people say, oh, you won't need an ambulance. If people aren't out here full driving, there's going to be less crashes, less rollovers. But I think it's actually going to be worse, because most of the crashes and stuff that we have here is on the main road anyway.
Yes.
So you're going to have people out here driving more in two-wheel drive cars with less experience to enjoy their national park, and they're not going to know how to drive to conditions. So I think there's actually going to be more, and it's going to be harder for them to actually get help when needed as well.
Yeah. And the other thing you were mentioning was that they've been promising for a long time that there's potential to improve tracks and do things that may in fact be building to tourism, but nothing's ever happened up until now.
Yes, there's always talk about, helping smaller regions and areas and things like that to promote tourism and get more people out here. And we've got an abundance of walking tracks. We've got old horse packing tracks that you can use, tram tracks. We've never really had a lot of the funding or help to do any of that. It's been a lot of locals in the past that have actually cleared the tracks, created working bees and things like that to get the help. We get a lot of help from Rudy from the Aberfeldy track, and he does, he comes out and he puts out signs about all historic areas and helps create awareness and knowledge about those sorts of things. But he's all a donation sort of a thing as well, with nothing is actually actually ever come from the government before. So I don't see how they're going to be able to do any of that sort of stuff now.
Yeah, and it's pretty steep. You were also talking that it's not necessarily a suitable environment for everybody.
It's not actually. It is. They talk about being able to create access paths for everybody, for all abilities and all of this sort of stuff. But you have to look at it realistically, and it's not a place that you can put access tracks for all ability people.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, even let's say in the pub itself, we get asked a bit if we have wheelchair access and stuff, and we don't, because we're built into a hill and we're built on a side of a hill.
Yeah.
There is stairs in any direction there is to get in here, and there's not enough room because the area, the valley itself is so tight.
Yeah.
You can't create these spaces.
Yeah.
If they're not there already, they can't really be put in.
Yeah, yeah. So it makes it quite challenging.
Yes.
All right. And what's the response you've been finding when you talk to people about the Great Forest National Park and inform them that this is what's going on? What kind of responses do you get?
I actually haven't found anybody who is for it yet.
But apparently 89% of Victorians love the idea.
So all of our customers that come here because of what it is.
Yeah.
So they come here because they can hunt, they can fish, they can motorbike ride, they can all drive.
Yeah.
We do get bushwalkers and things like that, and even a lot of the bushwalkers have actually said, you know, but what of our tracks are still going to be open?
Yes.
What are we going to be able to do? We have some of the biggest walking tracks in Australia here, some of the hardest things with the Macmillan walking track and the Alps track. And even those people are actually a little bit worried about what it means for them.
Yeah.
Because of access and walking off the track and being fined. And
was it $900, I believe, if you walk off the
along
track?
those lines it was. So it's not just the people who want to wreck the bush or any of that sort of stuff. It is just general people. And we get to actually find anybody who's for it, who comes out here.
Yeah, yeah. And how long have you been running this pub?
We've had the place for 4 years now.
Wow, so you've opened it just in time for COVID? So that would have been quite a challenge.
It was very much a challenge. It was that big of a challenge towards the end of COVID. We did actually shut down for a while.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So can I ask something?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a politician come out here?
We've had Cindy McLeish.
Yeah. Who is very for it.
But-
Very for us.
Yes.
Supporting us.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Good to
Okay.
know. Thank you.
So any of the upper house members for this local area at all?
Not to my knowledge.
No? There we go. That might be
None
a
of the
plug.
city politicians. No ministers.
You haven't met Steve yet?
Do you
My
know?
knowledge, no.
Wow, Steve, we invite you to come out and meet Carley and Luke and find out what it's like on the ground when it comes to these things. Any questions, Craig?
No, that's fine. Carley, you did really well, and tell you what, we've got a great pub here, and it's a beautiful spot in part of the world. So,
It is pretty cool.
all the best to it, and let's not get this national park wrong.
Yes. So for everybody that's watching this, we are planning on coming back to Woods Point. So watch our pages for the announcement when we're actually going to do our own answer to the Great National Park Yes campaign. We're going to do a great big people know in the very streets of Woods Point that Carley has actually wonderfully supported and said, please come to our town and we'll lock up the town and actually help everyone do this. So thanks, Carley. That was amazing.
Thank you.